So it was another great year for Mattel's WWE line. What else is new? I feel like this is one of the most consistent lines that I've collected from the start. I mean, I was like, I don't want to get this line. I have so many Jax figures, but Mattel blew them away right away. And they're now undisputed. They're the best, the all time. Oh, yeah, let's throw in GOAT here, producer of wrestling figures. And it's not just about the WWE figures. That's awesome. That's great. We've got WWF in here. We got WWE. We've also got a great collection of WCW, pretty decent assemblage of NWA talent. Now we're getting ECW, a little bit of Mid-South, some world-class love in the mix too. So it's a really great collection. In 2024, there were so many great additions added to that list. I can already tell you, spoiler for 2025, at the absolute least, in my top 5 is going to be that Ultimate Edition Great Muta figure they showed off. I am still blown away that they showed that figure, and he will be joining my collection next year. But before I jump ahead into next year, let's look back at the year that was with some great figures from Mattel with their WWE line, and I'll break down my top 10 coming up next. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, continuing with the Lyles Figure Files top 10 figure lines, or my favorite figures from my favorite lines in 2024. Now we're on the WWE, keeping this train rolling. Tomorrow, 2 more. I'm going to have JoJo Classified Series, Star Wars, a Black Series to wrap up my favorite lines, the top 10 figures or top 10 figures in 2 packs, because sometimes I get to cheat that way. But the WWE line, so many great reveals. And I wish there were some figures I could include, but the Monday Night Wars figures, the elite ones, the Build-A-Figure Wave figures were impossible to track down for me. The website, real spotty, really lame in terms of keeping them updated and having them available. And the stores weren't great at keeping them in stock. So there were some that I really probably would have added onto my list, but there was just no shot, or as Vince McMahon would say, no chance of getting them into my collection. But there's plenty, and I have enough honorable mentions that I do want to run through a few of them here. Starting off with the Ultimate Edition Monday Night Wars. Ironically, don't pay attention to that $68.99 price point. It's ridiculous. I got them for the $32.99 price, but the Monday Night Wars WCW version of Hot Rod Roddy Piper. This is a figure that's been long overdue. We've gotten so many of the NWO figures, and we really needed this version of Hot Rod with the shorter hair sculpt and ready to fight Hollywood Hogan. Got the leather jacket, and of course, I'm loving the fact that we don't always have to do a soft goods. We can make really good use of this Ultimate Edition format. Give them swappable arms, the overlay setup with the coat, or it just swaps over or slides over, and we've got it. Throw a t-shirt or 2 in here. And so we got this, we got the icon, we've also got the reality check and all kinds of different expressions. We got the yelling hot rod, he's going off on Easy E. And then we've got this one, the smiling head sculpt. Let's see if I can swing that over a little bit more. No, but it's a really good figure. And this was one I really needed to have in the collection because we needed this. He's a key pivotal feature player during the Monday Night Wars in WCW, which is ironic because he was such a fixture of the WWF, WWE, but he was really important. So many big moments. Starrcade 97 against Hollywood Hogan. First time, 97, 96. 97 was a terrible, most worst, awful decision we ever had at WCW. And there are lots. But 96, he knocks out Hogan, gets a big victory. The first win for WCW that actually matters. And then he goes against him again, and then Macho Man turns, and he joins the NWO. So many cool moments. And so definitely needed this version. I'm really happy that I was able to get him, 1. And 2, they did a really good job on him. If you're a hardcore WWF fan, you can have him go against your Goldust for your backstage, backlot, parking lot brawl. So Piper did have that shorter hairstyle in WWF. We could be Commissioner Piper in the middle of that match with everybody with Hart and Michaels. So we've got all kinds of things going. So this is really cool. I'm glad we got that figure. Finally, it has been one that's sneakily been on my list of figures that we really needed. So he is here. He's arrived. Finally, the hot rod in WCW action. Next up was one when he was announced, when they showed off what they were doing, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. He is going to be in my top 10 if it weren't for one of the rare missteps Mattel had with body part choices. And I know the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray Dudley has one too. But this one I think was more egregious. Is this guy, Bam Bam Terry Gordy, really good hair sculpt, head sculpt. And, maybe do a little wash with his hair because it just looks so weird the way it does. But he's not this slender and thin. And I feel like I said that with the Ghost Rider and Marvel Legends, but it's definitely the case here. Gordy was more of a barrel chested dude. I'm thinking, I was looking through my figures, which one made the most sense for him. Definitely that Keith Lee elite figure. That would have made the best body part choice for Terry Gordy because he's not as muscular as either Von Erich. I mean, he has no abs. He's just a big dude. And I think that Keith Lee mold really would have worked well with him. And the cool thing with this, and the reason I was like, oh man, he should be in this top 10, he has a whole separate setup where you can make him the executioner from his time period when he was at WWF helping out Mankind against the Undertaker. So I really dig the fact that they included it. It was a little bit smaller, so I almost feel like this makes more sense for him as the executioner than the UWF world class version of Terry Gordy. Here's what he looks like in executioner garb, and they really did a nice job with that. So I kind of dig it. I mean, gave him a separate head sculpt where you just put on, he's got the full outfit too. So you got this look. It is a really good job. I think they knocked that out. They probably did a better executioner figure than they did a Terry Gordy one. But we got a 2-in-1. I'm always a fan when they do that. And I think they did a really good job with executing that. And because there's so many blank bodies, I'm figuring I'm going to use a Brock Lesnar. I'm going to wipe off the tattoo on the back, give him that Ultimate Edition Brock first version because I think that will work great for my guy Terry Bam Bam Gordy, who finally needed a figure. We finally got it. Now we just need one more Freebird. So we're gonna have all three going against the two Von Erichs we have. But Terry Gordy definitely needed to be in my honorable mention slot. Here is another one, and these two are kind of a cheat because they just got the skin tone right. And I was so infuriated when I saw that original version of this guy and was like, what the heck? And I was excited when his name got released. I'm like, oh, cool. This is a classic must-have figure for, people who want to celebrate all the moments of wrestling history. And got the Wild Samoans already. And, Tony Atlas figures imminent. But the Rocky Johnson they first released had way too dark a skin tone. It was one where I put my foot and my hand down. I was like, I'm not buying this figure. Skin tone's wrong. But they finally fixed it with this 3-pack that you can find in basically any Walmart right now. The Maivia 3-packs got the High Chief Peter Maivia, a really nice figure, and he probably should have been in the top 10, but he's really nicely done. We got The Rock, got his Panama shades, shirt, shorts. He's chilling. But we got an updated, correctly skin colored version of Rocky Johnson. So very cool to see that he's got the double jointed elbows as well, and just overdue because we needed the better version of him. He had a super dark skin tone, and it didn't make any sense. It's like, y'all see that that's not right. So he's fixed. Speaking of skin tones that were botched and terrible, we had that original Nation of Domination Farouk, and this is my final honorable mention. We got a corrected version, and he looks so much better. He's got the leather jacket, and he's got this pissed off expression. This is like the Farouk you do not want to mess with. Great job with this guy. And I really debated, should I put him on to my top 10? When it was really like, oh man, this figure's great. They fixed a big problem. I was like, he's like 10B. So I really like Farouk. They did a good job. They fixed the problem. His outfit looks really good. He looks a little bit beefier too. Like he's ready to go. Get to stepping. So really digging that Farouk. I think they did a really good job with him, and happy to have a correct version of the leader of the Nation of Domination. All right, so now my top 10. Coming in at number 10, NXT Star Wars, Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT. I love the fact that they gave him his tracksuit top. Now, they didn't want to go full doll with you and give him tracksuit pants, but I dig this. The colors match up pretty strongly, too. So it's one of those deals where it's like, well, is it going to mess up? No, it's good. You can see that they're pretty closely together there. And he's got the details on the jacket, and the head sculpt is perfect. I mean, this is one where you can really appreciate their face printing because they're doing such a great job with them. But he looks cool, and he's got his beater shirt too, so you can have this look while he's wrestling. Of course, most of the time he doesn't take this off, but if you wanted to, you could. And he looks cool. I think they did a nice job, and you got little details on the back of it too. Very well done. And right now, my affiliate Amazon has him for $14.50 and a coupon to take another $2 off, so you can get Tony D'Angelo for $12.50. You can't beat that deal for elite figures. They don't really go on sale for that cheap outside of when Ringside has its end of year sales. But I was really happy with this figure and really glad to get him for a really nice price. So there you go. There is my number 10 on my top 10 list of WWE figures from this year. Next up, number 9, one that we've kind of gotten into figure before, but Ultimate Edition always trumps out the basic elite because the butterfly shoulders opens up so much posability with these figures. It just allows you to hit these moves a lot better, smoother. And for this guy who's dropping a frog splash on his opponents, you really need that. Of course, I'm talking about the Monday Night Wars, another one. Eddie Guerrero, my favorite wrestler. This head sculpt is perfect. I mean, this really captures that era where Eddie's the sleazy heel in WCW running the cruiserweight division, and they got a skin tone, I think, much better than we've seen in other ones. And this head sculpt, though, is just amazing. And being able to pull this off is great. This is a real highlight of the line for me. The only reason I have him as low as number 9 is because those Monday Night Wars figures are a pain to find and track down. And this is one where everyone should be able to get a crack at a great figure like this. The whole Monday Night Wars figure line has been a bit of a fiasco. I wish Mattel were able to go, all right, cool, you had your window for these figures. Never going to open up for people who can actually want to track them down and won't have to go through every Walmart in a tri-state area to track them down. But that Eddie Guerrero is really well done. Good work with him, and love that likeness is killer. And this is my first, I can't believe we got this figure. Number 8. We've gotten a nice array of figures that they've managed to sneak out. And I say sneak out, it's not like they're getting them out without WWE's approval, but we're getting figures that aren't just their WWF, their WWE looks. We're getting all different aspects. I mean, I really love the fact that we got a Dingo Warrior figure just last year, 2 years ago. That was awesome because, I mean, they've done every version of Ultimate Warrior, but getting the world-class version, that was really cool and really special. So we got another guy who's had such a long shelf life on WWE, WWF rosters with his signature gimmick. But I really, really, really love the fact that this is also making me want them even more. Is this guy in the Legends line, Big Bubba, No Trouble. He comes with the UWF title, which is awesome because we've got a Terry Gordy. He was the first UWF champion, so we got him. We're still waiting on my Steve, Dr. Death Williams, and my one-man gang. But it's really cool. So we've got this version. We've got him. And, of course, with him, we've got our bodyguard for Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express, even though we don't have them yet. But I love this mold. It works really well for him. You can do all the stuff you want him to do. And the really cool thing, I mean, there's several cool things about this. Our UWF world title, very cool. We got the bowler hat. We got the sunglasses. And they even did an alternate head sculpt with the rough and rugged hairstyle, a little bit longer, not that close cropped version we saw with Big Bubba or Big Boss Man. And I really love this. I mean, we got the dirtier, fuller goatee. Let's use our words. He looks really good. And I really appreciate that. But they gave us a chase version of this with a lighter blue shirt, which works really well with this setup, with this Big Boss Man head sculpt. Because when he came back to WCW, he was rocking the Big Bubba gimmick for a minute, and he traditionally wore that lighter blue shirt, which is very cool. So you can have your Big Bubba to go with your NWA section, or you can have one to go with your WCW section, teaming up with the Shark or Avalanche at that point, going against Sting, Macho Man Randy Savage. Very cool. Still upset, still bitter that we don't have a great Ultimate Edition Surfer Sting or any version of Ultimate Edition Sting. But here's hoping he eventually will sign that Billy Gunn contract where we can still get figures. He can still pal around with everybody in AEW. Next up, continuing the theme of Ultimate Edition figures, is my number 7 one, and I can't be like, oh, it's great. It's great because I paid a really nice price for him, but because I had a really great Elite version, but this Ultimate one is over the top. It's Ultimate Edition Vader. He looks so great, and he's got the white cloak of fear. The head sculpts to this figure are amazing. I mean, they really fit any mood for Vader he's got the MMA style gloves doing the Vader time sign. He's got the WCW world title. He's got the mask off head sculpt. He's got the removable mask option. He's got the yelling sculpt, which is so great. So you can do basically anything you want with this figure. He comes with a chase as well, and it's more of a WWF Vader time look. I didn't get that one, but I was like, maybe do I need him? Maybe not, because I've got so many Vader figures at this point, not even including Darth, but really good figure. And there was like this crazy sale Target was doing at that point. And I got him for $16. That was an awesome figure for even cheaper than your standard Elite figure. So had to make that move, had to get him. I mean, the dude can do his full on Vader splash. And all set to fight that Ron Simmons figure that we're getting next year. It's part of the greatest hits. He's going to be in the tights, the purple attire that he had when he beat Vader for the belt. So definitely pair him up with this one. Cannot wait. So that was my number 7 figure, the Ultimate Edition version of Vader. Next up is a guy that I was shocked to see on the leak list. And it was one of those deals where it's like, yeah, well, we're probably not actually going to see this figure, but we did. And I got him. I actually was able to get the Chase version first. I was like, cannot believe it. You're just sitting on the Target. What do they call those? The side panels, not the end caps, but the side kick. I think they call it the side kick. Anyway, they had a WWE display and they had that wave. I was like, oh, cool. And then you had Sam. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Chase version. So got the USA version. And that was when he was fighting Cactus Jack right after he'd won the world title. Very cool. And this is just so fun to have him in this. The paint job is really well done. I mean, Stars and Stripes are not an easy color scheme to rock out for a 6-inch action figure. I really wish he'd come with a red t-shirt to get the full look for this, but I am so hyped to get the Sandman, one of the real true fixtures of ECW in the collection. And I mean, now it makes me go, all right, hopefully we'll see Sabu, Taz, Shane Douglas, get any one of those 3 next year. I'm going to be really thrilled. And hey, while we're at it, let's get Public Enemy in there too. But yeah, we're actually getting more ECW figures, and that is a major one for me. The standard version as well was pretty cool, and this one matches up with the shirt a little bit better. But here's a look at both of them. And like the head sculpt, it looks really perturbed and annoyed. No room for a cigarette though. So we don't really complete the full look, but I love the detail on both tights. I think they really did a great job with the Sandman figure. He's just so cool. And one I was not expecting to get into the collection, and he's here. We do kind of have a Tommy Dreamer from the comeback of ECW, but if we got a better version of him, I wouldn't be upset. So got him knocked out. I still need to get those Dudley Boys. We're sold out over at Creations Mattel, but Ringside still has them, so I need to get them. That's why they're not on this top 10 list right now. Next up is a set that I was like, for sure, have to get it. And I waited till it hit on sale because that tends to be the norm. The first, number 5 here, Coliseum Collection. I want to say Colossal Connection because of the tag name. Coliseum Collection, Roddy Piper, the Hot Rod again, and George Animal Steel. And this set is not for George Animal Steel, who's solid. He's fine. The Elite was just fine. Didn't need another version of him, but we have this 2-pack, which is awesome, simply because this is the greatest Roddy Piper figure that we've gotten from Mattel. And they've done some really good figures. This one has the best likeness. He just looks perfect. That sniving, conniving, just jerk face is perfect for Piper during this time period. George Animal Steel should be bigger, a little bit thicker in his torso. That's kind of like holding me off on this, but this Piper figure, perfect. And, you know, when you're going over your history of the WWF, you've got to have Roddy Piper right at the forefront. We've got a Captain Lou figure. We've got a Wendy Richter figure. We needed a great Roddy Piper to complement them. We finally do with this one. So absolutely recommended. Pick it up. It's still available on creationsmattel.com and definitely worth it. He dipped in price during the holidays. I keep saying the 2-pack dipped in price to $35. It's back up to 70. I was a little shocked that it didn't sell out, but don't wait too much longer because it's a really good set and definitely worth picking up if you're a fan of the hot rod like me. Continuing more Ultimate Edition love. This one is number 4. Whoa. Gotta get this dude on here. The dude that finished his story, even though this is based on last year's WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes. We got him finally. Ultimate Edition. This is so great because this is one that really makes great use of the format. They did his entrance robe, fully sculpted, great amount of detail, and they made sure removable sleeves or arms, and that way they can put as much detail on those sleeves as possible. And he's got so much detail, you can't really see it on the sides, but the alternate head sculpt makes a lot of sense. He's got his weight belt. So much of it, of course, went into this ring robe, which is just so spectacularly done. And getting this WrestleMania 39 Cody's really cool. That was where I was like, I'm done with WWE. You guys are on timeout for a long time. But then they started playing out some really cool stuff. So I was really happy to watch it play out this year with the culmination of the story. And WWE's had some really great storylines with Cody right in the midst if he's not in the center of it. So really cool. This is the one that kind of gets everything rolling for the next year for Cody Rhodes, and very ecstatic to have this figure in my collection. I wanted it to just cheat and go, all right, all 3, Cody Rhodes, KO, Sami Zayn from WrestleMania 39. I narrowed it down to just that Cody Rhodes, which I think is one of the best figures we've seen all year. So he needed to make the cut, and Zayn and KO probably should have been honorable mentions while I was going through them. So my number 3 pick, slightly controversial. Maybe they could have been 2. Maybe they should just be number 3. Whatever. It's my list. I'm coming up with it. It's these guys from the Wolfpack. Hall and Nash, The Outsiders, Ultimate Edition, Ringside Collectibles exclusive. Love this set. Hall and Nash both look great. They come with the Outsiders t-shirt. They're so simple, but so iconic because everyone was rocking this during the Monday Night Wars, the Nitro era. And I really appreciate that Mattel could have just gone with, hey, here you go, some same old head sculpts, but they did some different ones. The Nash ones, I think, are really cool because they used the Diesel head sculpts, but they incorporated the longer hair Nash hair sculpts that we've seen with previous Kevin Nash figures. So that's pretty cool. Nice way to keep those refreshed, do something different. And I think that's really cool to just not go out there and go, hey, the Diesel hair sculpt, which is shorter, is fine. It's not. So I appreciate them taking that extra step to do that. Here you go, with them in their full wrestling glory. Hall has such an obnoxious bastard head sculpt, but I love it. I think it's so awesome. Definitely captures his cocky style during this phase. And you can see this is the yelling Diesel head sculpt, but because he's got the longer, cooler Nash hair sculpt, it really looks great. And I think that really did something extra. And the colors look cool. They both come with the WCW tag titles. Here's their full array of accessories, and check it out. Very cool. Both WCW titles, Outsider t-shirt. They both got the Wolfpack hand gestures. Hall has the I'm so scared to go with this new head sculpt, which is awesome. That's cool. And what's also really cool is they came with different NWO shirts. So if you have some other figures in your collection who are part of the NWO, you always wanted a fan book in there, you can just throw these NWO t-shirts over them and bam, you've got some more additions to the NWO. Or if you've got some members like, say, a Michael Wall Street that doesn't have a figure, you can slap that on them and bam, there you go. So very cool, very appreciated. Love the head sculpts for both these guys, and the fact they've got that Ultimate Edition articulation makes them even better. Next up is my controversial number 2 pick, but I absolutely had to do this because I've waited on this version of this guy for so long, and we've gotten other figures, and I think this first one might have a slightly cooler paint job, but I dig this look the most. It is from WCW Monday Night Nitro. It is the one and only Six. What's so great about this is the previous Six figure we got was basically an X-Pac repaint. So the difference is when he was 6, he had a much tighter goatee setup, got a little thicker near the end, but this is his normal look during that era. His hair sculpt looks better. And most importantly, there's no tongue sticking out. So it's just a calm, relaxed version of Six, which is really cool because we haven't had that look for him yet. And he's got the lightning. Shout out to his lightning kid alter ego. And we've got the hand sculpts of the Wolfpack as well with this figure. And he comes with a Build-A-Figure NWO Dusty Rhodes, which I do not need to buy. They did the detail work on his knee pads, which is also cool. The original one did not have that, so it's got the Pac for life. Very cool thug life here. And I'm just really happy with this figure. I think it turned out really nice. And interesting, maybe there's a chase because mine has a lightning bolt effects on it. So I just noticed that now. Anyway, the crotch chop, hand gestures, the Wolfpack gesture, very cool. And I'm just really happy to have a Six that is not an X-Pac repaint. I've already had really good Hall and Nash figures. Getting them in Ultimate Edition was great, but the Six figure that is totally NWO version, that took the cake. That raised him a couple notches above his fellow NWO brethren. And my number one, probably a surprise to absolutely no one who's watched this channel, heard me raving about these guys. So excited about them. Let's give a big hoo, 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 hoo to my number one choice for Mattel's WWE figure line. It's these guys, the Steiner Brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner. Love it. They came with Michigan jackets, even though there's no M. I'll just use my imagination or find an M to throw on there. But it's so great. And yeah, they're kind of billed more as, hey, this is them in their WWE run, but it's so not. This is totally WCW phase. Scott's wearing an outfit that I'm pretty sure he wore during Starrcade 92 when he was teaming up against Steve Austin in that Battle Royal tag team craziness. Rick Steiner rocked this singlet look with the numbers so often. His Jax figure had it. So there you go. This is our first time getting a Steiner Brothers because we never got a Scott Steiner in this style. Jax tried to do one with their Legends of Wrestling. It was unreleased. So now we got a Scott Steiner, not a Big Baba Pump. Steiner Brothers, Scott Steiner. This completes a lot of things. The dudes with attitudes. If you want to not consider Elegante a member, got Dogface Gremlin there. The numbers look good. This is what he was rocking during that feud with the Force. But I'm trying to remember if he was rocking the numbers attire during Wrestle War 91. I feel like he might have been, but it's so cool. And then they did the little extra. They gave him the short boot because he was doing that. He didn't rock that while he was part of the WWF. He was doing the straight up, hey, I'm a regular guy kind of thing. So this is really cool. So we got the mismatched boots, different colors on them too. That's so cool. And Scott, of course, is rocking his regular attire. So I am so ecstatic to get the Steiner Brothers in my collection. Ultimate Edition versions too. So you can get all the full force of the Steiner lines coming off there. I mean, you see the back sides of their outfits. They look really great. And I'm just so thrilled to get these guys in the figure line. You can see they've got their different alternate heads and they look really cool too. And just so excited to get these guys in my collection. Finally, the Steiner Brothers, a big time want for me. And they were executed so well. And Mattel, again, just another banger job with figure releases in 2024. Great Muda, 2025 is going to be in the top 5 for sure. But I can't wait to see what else comes up because there's a lot of new figures. I'm excited about that Dangerous Alliance Rick Rude coming probably next month at the rate they're going. But it's a really good time to be in the Mattel's WWE line. That's it for me on this one. For those of you that collect these wrestling figures, let me know what you thought. What was in your top 10? There were some, of course, that I just don't have because I didn't get them yet, but hopefully soon. Ricky the Dragon, Steamboat, Ted DiBiase, the Coliseum collection, and the Heart Foundation, both of those would have made the cut. Just spoiler. But I'm pretty excited about it. Let me know what you would have chosen for your top 10. And as always, thank you so much for watching. This episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.